Good afternoon, students. So today is the fourth presentation for CRE1501, Creativity in the Early Years. And this is your presentation on Learning Unit 4. And I am Dr. Ayesha Carrim, your lecturer, and I'm here to support you. Okay, so the purpose of this presentation is basically to get familiar with the contents and the outcomes of Learning Unit 4. I'm just basically giving you a brief introduction to help you become familiar and, work through the assessments as well. So we're looking at the content, learning creativity through drama, and you'll basically see things like your introduction, just to the learning unit, the importance of dramatization, as well as, why teachers might be reluctant to use drama as a playful pedagogy. And we're looking at drama in education, the underpinnings of dramatization in the early years. And we also looking at the implementation of drama as an early learning strategy. Some strategies to use for teacher-guided activities and their specific purposes are also highlighted, as well as the free play and child-initiated drama activities that are also very important in the classroom. We're also going to reflect on the unit and conclude as per other presentations. So when you're looking at the outcomes of this unit, when you have completed this unit, you'll be able to understand the importance of dramatization in early learning, and also why dramatization is an important playful teaching and learning strategy, to create meaningful, contextually relevant, and culturally appropriate playful learning experiences for young children. We're also drawing on appropriate theoretical underpinnings that inform quality early learning in relation to dramatization and appropriate play-based pedagogies, as indicated earlier. We also are looking at translating your own knowledge, and how you can draw on appropriate early learning standards and other indigenous resources to design, plan, implement, evaluate, and reflect on meaningful dramatization experiences for all children. You also need to describe why it's important for ECCE teachers to appreciate and value the place of drama as a teaching strategy, and critically reflect on how to include dramatization in the early learning curriculum to improve your practice. Okay, so when you're looking at the key concepts in this learning unit, you need to understand what dramatization means. So it refers to acting out something, in early childhood, this could be a rhyme, a song, a story. And when we look at dramatization in education specifically, this refers to an activity that provides children with playful learning opportunities to discover and explore ideas through active experiences such as movement, music, purposeful play opportunities, discovery and collaborative learning. When we look at playful pedagogies, we're thinking about how you can use playful approaches to teaching and learning, as well as indigenous practices, which we need to refer to local knowledge and practices and how they develop over generations, and how this can be passed on orally from generation to generation. So keep in mind these key concepts while going through this learning unit. Okay, so we're looking at the introduction. This is basically in early childhood, drama is not taught as a subject discipline, rather drama basically refers to doing, being active is part of one's teaching methodology. So in other words, it's a teaching strategy that supports a playful pedagogical approach to, teaching and learning. And through drama, children are assisted to learn in an interesting and fun way. It also allows children to experiment with movement and voice in appealing and different ways. So in this learning unit, drama does not refer to children's theater, which is the presentation of a performance to an audience, but rather the focus is on let's pretend, it is a natural way that children learn through play. However, for teachers to include dramatization in their daily programs, they must recognize its importance as an early learning teaching strategy, and they themselves must be able to model many of the strategies when interacting with children. So in ECCE, teachers should feel comfortable to act out ideas, pull various faces, use different gestures, and use different types of voices when facilitating the learning of children. So in this learning unit, we are going to explore the importance of dramatization as an early learning methodology, the link between drama and education, and how to include relevant dramatization activities in the early learning program is very important. So we are also going to explore your attitudes towards drama and reflect on the extent to which you can make use of drama activities in the playroom. So the key message there is drama in ECCE is not about performance, it's about play, it's about expression, it's about connection. And it's important to understand this. Okay, now we're looking at the importance of dramatization in early learning. Drama is one of the performing arts. So remember, if you go back to previous learning units, the others are music, movement, dance. We've discussed this. So we explored some of these concepts in Learning Unit 3 as well. As we progress through this learning unit, you will see the close association between drama, music, and movement in early learning. Drama encourages that creativity and therefore is an excellent way of getting children to explore and discover what their bodies are capable of in a fun and non-threatening way. In fact, drama is part of the ELDA 5 creativity. And you refer to the module on curriculum in early learning to consolidate your understanding of the place of drama as an important ELDA. Well, and also look at it, while children interact usually collaboratively through drama activities, they are also building, self-awareness and self-confidence. So it's important that you understand that. And on, especially if you see ELDA 2 on identity and belonging, doing drama promotes active participatory learning. Children express themselves, and these self-expressive moments strongly reinforce the notions of a being and belonging child. So remember, through dramatization, children share ideas, they make decisions and act independently. And they also learn for collective living and develop positive attitudes towards assisting and cooperating with others. So remember that as well. So therefore, if you look at the drama activities offer an excellent opportunity for children, to explore and protect their own rights. So while they are doing this, they learn to share and not violate other person's freedom. And this is an important early learning lesson in democratic citizenship, in our country. So because drama involves acting out, children are encouraged to move their bodies, including making various gestures. You can also get them to play out a voting thing or something like that. Drama movements it also develops child's posture. Can you believe it? And they balance their gross and fine motor skills. So perceptual motor development is also something that gets touched on, especially spatial awareness, orientation behaviors, which is also developed. And while children are participating in these activities, remember, they're experiencing enjoyment and feelings of self-satisfaction. In this way, ELDA 1, where well-being is promoted, acting out or pretend play usually also includes verbal interactions. Therefore, there is a close correlation between drama and language development or communication, and which is ELDA 3. And if you look at it, children will often act out certain scenes or make animal sounds or movements. And in this way, they're also increasing their understanding and knowledge of the world, which is, ELDA 6 as well. So remember that you need to understand all the ELDAs and also, make sure to really understand all the content here. So an ECC teacher views dramatization as let's pretend, which is a useful, playful pedagogy to use during teacher-guided activities. Opportunities are generated for holistic development through sharing of many varied fun learning and teaching opportunities. So just make sure to understand that. And remember, a quote to remember is dramatization is more than acting. It's how children learn about themselves, others, and the world. Okay, so there's an activity there, 4.1, where you read the case study and then answer the question. So it's very important that you do that, where you understand the context, and also the age group, the props, the roles, the extension, and how you're going to, get them to take turns, and basically also understand, each elder was promoted. So the points to ponder are: were all children included in the dramatization? How were free play and teacher guided activities balanced? Did children use their imagination to extend play? Were you able to identify, all six of the elders in the activity? All of that is very important. Okay, so now we're looking at the next section, which is 4.2.1. And this is why teachers might be reluctant to use drama as playful pedagogy. So you need to read the following extract, which describes a teacher's response to a question about using drama as a playful pedagogy. The teacher replied, "Use drama? Never. The children in my class are little barbarians. If I use drama in a lesson, they become so wild and uncontrollable that I wouldn't be able to do a thing with them. The noise." So this is our general, take on it as teachers, because, when it comes to discipline issues and, different types of children in the classrooms, things like that. So this type of response is not uncommon, when teachers are asked why they do not make use of drama in the classroom or playroom. Some teachers feel this way about many of the playful pedagogical strategies. They say children become too difficult to control and they undermine their authority. So teachers are sometimes particularly concerned about certain groups of children, such as, aggressive or extremely active children in the classroom, shy children, or children who do not, speak the language of the teaching and learning. Some parents and teachers feel that drama is a waste of time. So there's a lot of things that, make teachers not use drama in the classroom, but it's such an important learning strategy. So, these teachers forget that children learn best through playful pedagogies. And it's very important that a teacher must know how to control and direct the child's desire for action in an appropriate way. So most children use drama naturally, because play is a form of dramatic action. So teachers must encourage children to listen, to observe, express in a spoken language what they think and feel, use their imagination, and in doing so, they develop creativity. And they need to work together collaboratively. So remember to do activity 4.2, where you're exploring the importance of dramatization in early learning playroom. You're going to basically write a short paragraph or an ECCE newsletter explaining to parents why dramatization and fantasy play are essential components of the early learning program. And you can follow certain links on the in the study guide so that you have a better understanding. And apart from what is mentioned in 4.2.1, did you think of how, through drama, you as a teacher can direct child's play into self-discovery moments? In other words, you basically facilitate the child's learning. You encourage the self-discipline, the self-regulatory behaviors, and you basically help support the child to make decisions. And through working collaboratively, you find ways of sorting out their ideas, and this encourages leadership roles, which in turn leads to cooperation in the classroom as well. So they must think about how people behave, the whys and the, all of that, so that they can create characters. And they also learned how to construct a story that has some sort of plot or logical flow, and it becomes more fun in the classroom to understand a story in that way. So finally, they communicate with each other, and in this way, language skills are enhanced at the same time. Can you see how English is incorporated into all of these things? Language. So, but because they can also use gestures and expressions, dramatization is an excellent way of allowing children who do not speak basically who do not speak English but speak other additional languages, they can also make meaning through these dramatization activities. So yes, so this is very important as well. Like I said, I'm just giving a summary. You need to go into it and check 4.3. Drama and education, the underpinnings of dramatization in early learning. Remember, drama has always been present in education. It's always used by the ancient Greeks, to educate people and all of that. So in current times, think of the influence of radio, of film, of television, and social media, and all of that, songs, dance, all of that have dramatic elements as do children's games that you have on your smartphones. So although drama can entertain in educational context, it should also have educational value. So remember, drama should be used for a purpose. So you need to also consider all of that, in terms of when used in creative arts, movement can also be incorporated, and it can mean different things. One meaning refers to different types of expressive movements. For example, facial expressions, different gestures. So all of that, you can also, in a musical sense, you can bring movement and dance, and all of that are vital parts and many forms of theater. I'm sure many of you have attended something in theater. And if you have not, it's sometimes good to go and see all of these things that get incorporated in theater, movement, dance, music, all of that. And it's important to expand your knowledge of different types of movement in theater, the role of movement and dance in theoretical performance, and all of that is really, it makes you really appreciate the role and importance of drama for experiencing life and living. The more you will introduce, and that is how you will introduce it more and share it with children, if you should get that appreciation for it as well. If you look at activity 4.3, you need to do this reflective activity where you learn to appreciate drama. You basically reading an article that was mentioned in the study guide, the role of movement and dance in theater, and then you answer it, what according to the article was the most important tool of expression. Things like that. Reflect on your own practice and what do you think you can make better using it in your teaching practices. So really consider, did you identify that an important tool of expression is physicality, or the way actors move and use their, bodies for movement? And you also understand the non-verbal communication that comes with it, the expressive voice, the pitch, the tone, all of that can transform a story into an immersive experience. And drama encourages motivation, imagination, participation, and can be really fun for our learners. We're looking at activity 4, where you're developing social skills through drama. This is where you really need to understand how, learners can really take from these activities and, basically increase your understanding of the importance of drama in social development of the child, and select one term, that you didn't understand, and really reflect on that in a, and compare with others' responses on the module site when these forums are created as well. So as you read the article, you understand the importance of social skills a young child must develop, where, how it is reinforced, all of that. It's very important that you need to, really consider how to resolve personal and social difficulties, provide, drama activities that are purposeful, developmental, and deeply educational at the same time. Okay, now we're looking at 4.4, where you're implementing drama as an early learning strategy. As we've already said, there is always a purpose to doing drama. And, as an ECC teacher, you must be familiar with the various purposes and know how to implement each one in a playroom. So an important teaching role for you is to become familiar with several teaching strategies. Remember, all are playful and all contribute towards the holistic development of children and the 6 elders that we spoke about earlier. So at times you will be in control of the drama, such as, when you're presenting a teacher-guided activity. And at other times you will have to provide props and time and space to allow children to explore. And, the spontaneous experimentation might come after a particularly exciting teacher-guided learning activity. So you need to be hands-on with that as well. And we're looking at, why it matters, and like we said, holistic development, imagination, problem solving. We're developing empathy, language, and social skills, building that confidence of our learners. And it's very helpful for second language learners, especially our, we have some shy learners in the classroom, and all of that really helps with it. So these two main approaches, the teacher-guided drama activities and the socio-dramatic free play activities. So we're looking at 4.4.1, some strategies to use for teacher-guided activities and the specific purposes. So remember, developing the senses, the rhythm, music, and improvisation. So drama isn't just play, it's purposeful, developmental, and sensory rich. It supports creative expression, higher order thinking, imagination, and all six elders as well, like we said. So remember, it really is important for you to, read all of the development of senses to drama that is introduced into in the study guide, and looking at rhythm and music, as well as encouraging young children to move to many kinds of music. So it could be quick music, cheerful, lively music, rhythmic, processional music, frightening music, quiet, all of that. So you bring in a lot of things that help build the the understanding and allows that freedom of movement. So don't prescribe too many rules. Support that exploration, and look at activity 4.4, where you're sourcing different types of music to encourage dramatic movements. And this is where we're encouraging you to consult other links, access different types of music and how it will support drama activities, which is very important. So to consider how to adapt these videos, you need to ensure they are all suitable for children, and really reflect before, and consider the learning opportunities for children, and include everyone in that sense. And also look at the music stories, the verses and the poems, bring all of that into the context as well. So when you're really reflecting, you need to understand how suitable were the videos for the learners. How could you adapt one for toddlers, or smaller? And can you write your own rhyme, something that's inspiring, and all of that. That's very important for our students as well. Okay, so we're also looking at, like we said, the adapting music and movement, points to ponder, bring in poems, whether it be nursery rhymes, very important, and also bring that dramatic play into all of that as well. And you need to also consider having, those, maybe it's a recorder, whatever, so you can play music, read stories aloud, guide children in movement. All of that is important in young children, in a young child's classroom as well. So remember that you need to focus on dramatic movement, adapt for age, culture, and ability, and also create that joyful, responsive, and imaginative, learning spaces where by collecting music, verses, movement resources, which are very important in the classroom. I must re-emphasize that. Activity 4.4 is sourcing suitable nursery rhymes. This is where you're using the links and you're really creating that, a hard copy of each, or, soft copy or whatever, so that you can at least have this when you get into your, classrooms in the foundation phase. You need to already have your resource pack, it's very valuable to have this. So each poem should be maybe typed out with the name of the poem, and add the author as well. If possible, laminate each of the pages. So all of this should be something that you keep, and, look after, so you don't have to do it all the time. Improvisation is referring to creating and performing music, drama, verses without any preparation. That spontaneous, unrehearsed, impromptu presentation, that's always really fun for our students as well. And that could be, acting out stories, emotions, dramatization of a situation, change stories, whatever it be, consider those as well. And remember, you need to think about the self-awareness, become aware of others, use the imagination, extend the vocabulary at the same time, engage in purposeful speech. All of that is very important as well. And then you're looking at, activity 4.6, where you really need to, consider planning dramatic games for toddlers or young children. You get that mirror to one game. What did you say? Musical statues that you can really see in the, a table created in the study guide for more information. And read at least 2 of these games mentioned above to get some ideas of appropriate games. And maybe you can consider something more creative, give it approximate length of activity, and, And you'll also notice there is one similar requirement for all games, that children need sufficient space, to move around in. So consider that. As an ECC teacher, you must ensure that there's a safe, spacious area in which children can move so they don't get injuries, things like that. Make sure the instructions of how to play the game are clear and easy to follow. Those are also very important for you to consider. When we look at free play or child-initiated drama activities, because the emphasis is on early learning, in early learning is on playful, interactive pedagogies. As an ECC teacher, you have an important function in planning and preparing the early learning environment and make sure that it supports child-initiated activities. As a teacher, you must consider how the early learning environment is set out. And teachers must consider the choice of props, the resources, and think about the suggestions they make to encourage spontaneous free play. And, this has already been discussed under teacher-guided activities, but spontaneous improvisation, should always be encouraged. And, use visual aids, use the resources, but also make sure that the usual playground rules apply. And, I do understand where teachers bring out that, things can get really problematic in the classroom, but you need to be able to work through that and supervise closely and all of that. So socio-dramatic play also for young children is an important way to make sense of their world. So do incorporate that. And one of the most important skills acquired through socio-dramatic play is, things like self-regulatory behavior. And as an ECC teacher, you must make plenty of provision for children to engage in socio-dramatic play. And this is where you can also look at activity 4.7, where you understand the benefits of dramatic play by reading an article and really understanding, the difference between structured and unstructured play and the benefits, and, also describing your own ECC context and, considering in that sense. And remember, there should be a fantasy corner in every playroom. There is often referred to as a home corner. And as a teacher, you need to, set up different types of fantasy corners. So this is how you can encourage children's interest and, work through different topics and themes, informing the curriculum. And it also should be filled with exciting and stimulating resources that you need to start, collecting as an ECC teacher. Yeah, and also remember that it's very important for best practices, to really consider rotating props to maintain interest, involve children in tidying up, keep resources clean, safe, and in good condition, and make sure that they're inclusive and accessible. That's also very important. So now, just to reflect on what we've spoken about in this presentation, drama has been introduced as an important teaching and learning strategy in early learning. And you need to reflect on your own attitudes, using drama in early childhood as a playful pedagogical teaching approach. And this is why we encourage this, describe your own attitude, and show your appreciation of this. So to what extent do you value drama as a creative, innovative teaching strategy? And also, how do you make use of dramatic cues such as gestures, facial expressions, all of that, voice changes? And also, you need to get children to become, basically there is times where they're not interested or boisterous. So what do you think you could do to redirect children's behavior so that you can continue with the activities? When they get too fidgety and they're not in, the discipline becomes an issue. All of that needs to be considered as well. Now we're looking at just concluding. So drama has always been described as doing, and it embraces all the arts, the music, the songs, the dance, speech, visual art, and design. So in early childhood, an interactive teaching strategy enables you to implement appropriate, fun, engaging learning opportunities for young children. So remember, drama should always have a purpose. And as an ECC teacher, you must not lose sight of why you're including drama in your teaching strategy. Through drama, you get children to act out their feelings in movement, song, dance, whatever it is. And they are experimenting, remember, with life in some way, because drama is an experimental form of learning. So this unit focused basically on how to implement drama activities through playful pedagogical approaches. It also emphasized that a playful pedagogical approach requires you as a teacher, to make use of many drama techniques to engage children and ensure that their learning is stimulating, fun, and meaningful. So, a final thought, drama is not just an add on. Remember, it's a core teaching strategy that makes learning alive, expressive, and transformational for our young minds. Um, so, yes, so we've reached the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening. And I hope that it gave you a better understanding of this learning unit. All the best, students.